About 10 months ago, GUMOUT was crazy enough to say that they wanted me to build them a giveaway car and that I could choose whatever I wanted. So about 9 months ago, we found this chopped 1939 Chevy pickup on a custom frame and bought it basically as a roller. Over the last 9 months, we've been putting in a ton of work to build this thing to the spec that we would want if we were building ourselves a dream hot rod. Now we have less than 2 weeks to finish this build, and by the time you finish the video, you're gonna see just how desperate for time we are and how it looks like we are working backwards. By the way, this is your last month to enter to win this thing, and it is completely free to do so.
Let's pull down the wheels a little bit. There you go.
I mean, I think yours is more on the curve. Oh yeah, yours is further that way than this one, so it's up to you.
Right about there.
We need a third.
Yeah, we'll grab one.
What'd you just tell me you did? You soaked the back side of this, and then it's gonna form to the shape.
Yeah.
Neat.
It's an old school trick. They do it a lot with these door cards because you see the curvature.
Ah, yes.
You know, so if you were doing a full one and the curvature of this right here, if you wanted to make that accurate.
Yeah.
It's just more of like a flat panel work, but everybody else now they're using like MDF or ABS, and it's just flat.
Who is it?
Hello.
Oh, you even put lines in it?
Yeah, pleats.
Pleats.
Yeah.
Oh, you pleated it.
Pleated it.
Like pants.
Yeah, like plates in the pants.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the forming kind of went away once you put the fabric on.
Yeah,
It
I know I was gonna. But the thing is that like once I put magnets in it, it'll go back to the shape it was.
Yeah. That's what I was basically saying. Is like the weight of it, like pulled it the opposite of what you wanted.
The tension
Yeah.
of the flat fabric. Because
Yeah.
I glue it. And I tried to glue it down bent, but it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's gonna be sick.
It's supposed to go pretty much to like right there.
Yeah. I like it.
I got magnets that just showed up at home.
So you can literally just pop that on and off. It'll just stick to it. That's sick.
The magnets I got are like not 15, they're like 12-pound pulls each.
Each. Whoa. That's freaking cool, dude. You knocked that out quick.
Thanks.
I hate how much I love this red.
I know. I love it too.
Yeah. The next big step on this build is to paint and coat everything. But before we do that, we need to make sure all of our fab work is done. So any more cutting, grinding, welding, or drilling holes needs to be done now so we don't risk ruining the paint after the fact. The brake master on this truck was mounted underneath the floor directly to the frame. While that made the firewall look really clean, not having anything on it, it didn't allow us to fit a brake booster, which is what gives you power brakes. We wanted this thing to have power brakes, and so we bought this kit from Speedway Motors that allowed us to adapt what we already had, but mount it to the firewall. The other upside to mounting it to the firewall is placement. The truck itself tapers as it goes forward, and we put a pretty big transmission in this thing, so the transmission tunnel took up an extra inch of foot clearance that we didn't really have to begin with. But by mounting it on the firewall and not being limited to where it has to mount on the frame, we're able to put the pedal assembly right where we want it to be and to have plenty of room for the driver's feet. Next on the list is finishing the floors. We left the panel off where your feet go because we didn't know if we were putting the master on the frame or not, and didn't know if we needed to change what we already made to create an access panel so that you could fill it with brake fluid when you needed to. But now that that is mounted on the firewall, we can move on and fully weld everything on the inside and get it all ready for seam sealer and then epoxy.
What do you call a chicken staring at a head of lettuce? Chicken sees a salad.
Oh, that is a good one. Chicken sees a salad. Okay.
Yeah, chicken sees a salad.
Is the word lethargia, is that the noun of lethargic? Because the more I say lethargia, the more it doesn't sound like a word.
I don't know. I've never heard lethargia.
That's what I'm saying. What's the noun of lethargic?
I don't know. I've heard lethargic.
I know, but it's got to have a noun because lethargic is an adjective. Lethargia sounds like a Louisiana.
Listen, Webster, I don't know.
It was in my head the other night, and the more I said lethargia, the more it sounded like less of a word, and I don't know if it's a word.
Why can't you call, or how do you cancel an appointment bank?
Oh, can we say that?
I don't know.
I think we could say.
You call and tell them you can't.
Yeah, we probably can't put that in here. You got to follow up every clean joke with one of those.
I don't know.
Oh, gosh, dang it. There's a little bit left to wrap up the floors, but now that that is complete, we have to move on to something that I've been really excited to see the finished result, but I have not been wanting to do it because I know how long it's going to take, and that is retrofitting our brand new 7-inch Holley digital display into this old school dash. And what I'm most worried about is there's a curve to it. So it's not as simple as what we've done on the Jeep or the Mini Cooper where we just have a flat piece of metal and just cut a hole and bolt it. I want to make this thing look like it is meant to be in there as much as possible. And that is not an easy task, especially with my skill set and my experience. This is something I have not done before, but I wanted it to happen. It's been in my head for a while now. Manny is also really good with stuff like this as far as visualizing it. And so I did bug him a handful of times to ask him what and where and how. And I think I executed his touches to a T, and I'm pretty happy with the end result. But as I expected, it took a long time. After I welded this in place and we cut the provision for the Holley, I went through and TIG welded the whole thing because I wanted it to be a smooth finish. And it's kind of hard to grind down those big MIG welds and still know that you have structure. But because TIG welding, you're melting the two metals as you feed the fill rod, the penetration is a lot deeper and a lot more controlled.
You guys want to try it?
I'm ready when you guys are. Here we go. Oh, it's not that far. Let's see what that walking this way is going to be a little tough. Plus, you didn't start your phone recording. It's alright. Go back. Okay.
We might have screwed up. That was cool. So Max, Seth, and Zach were all here. Mina was here for a moment. Manny was here for a moment. We got this thing on jack stands because we're going to epoxy the everything underneath. And then we got to epoxy the floors. I got to sand the dash down, epoxy that, epoxy the ceiling, epoxy everything. And then we'll do the paint stuff on the outside. For the frame here, we bought, I haven't even opened it up yet. I'm so excited to show you guys. Eastwood has some kind of enamel epoxy. I don't actually know what it is, but it's for frames and rust prevention specifically. And so I bought rust encapsulator plus paint gallon. Matte black. Applies directly over rust. Cool thing is, now that we've got it stripped to this point, I'm going to spray it. But originally, I was like, oh, this is cool because you can roll it, brush it on, or spray it. And I was like, well, that's convenient because I didn't really know we were going to strip it down to basically what looks like we are screwed for time. Keep in mind, as of today, right now, we have 12 days. 12. We have 12 days. For this thing to be completely done, running, driving, ready to be given to one of you guys. I mean, just kind of let it sink in a little bit, let it soak in. There's no wiring done. There's nothing ran for the bags in the rear as far as like the actual like management of them. We literally have nothing for the fuel system. I just bought a shifter that we're gonna have to modify to use for the 6L80 because no one does anything for 6L80s except really expensive stuff. I'm getting off track. So epoxy stuff on that. Spray the whole frame with that rust encapsulator goodness. So let's see. So Max is coming back tomorrow morning to help take apart oh man, there's too much to do. So what we're gonna do is put the engine and transmission back in real quick because we need to get a drive shaft made. And so we're gonna put that back in because it'll be quick and easy, take the measurements we need, pull it back out, get the rear end off, and then get that ready for the paint. I'd really like to call that an enamel or an epoxy, but I don't actually know what it is. It's an encapsulator. We're gonna encapsulate the frame and then so we got a lot to do. Thank goodness those guys were all here because they did all of that while I just did some patchwork here. I'll show you. This was wide open and you could see the basically that 1x1 square tubing, and it just kind of looked unfinished. So now you can't see it. It's kind of cool seeing all of this though from the underside because I haven't seen that yet. It kind of looks legit actually, except for that one rod that is not centered with the other one. What an idiot. So in regards to this, I didn't want to put that there. The old one was mounted right here under the floor. Previous owner said the brakes, he didn't love them, and I'm attributing that to the fact that it didn't have a brake booster, so you really had to put your foot down to get it to stop. Well, there's no way we could fit that on the frame underneath the floor with the booster. And then the other thing, so the whole truck narrows to the front, right? So it really minimizes your foot room. And by putting that on the firewall, I had more opportunity to kind of move it where I want it. And then up there, kind of hard to see, but we can put the pedal forward or backwards quite a bit. So once we're kind of ready to roll and the floor is done and all the other important things are done, we can kind of pick exactly where we want that. And then depending on who wins it or depending on what it is, we can adjust that for them if they need it. So I'm gonna finish welding the motor mounts, and then there's a bunch of holes on the firewall here that I'm gonna weld shut, grind smooth. There's some welding on the back of the cab that I'm gonna hit because we weren't able to do that previously. So I'm basically gonna get all the welding and all the cutting done on this and the frame. And then tomorrow will be the day where we clean everything off, spray the epoxy and the encapsulator, and get all of that done. That was the most time I've taken away from working today, is chatting to you guys right now. So I'm gonna get back to it. All right, engine's back in. I had to put the exhaust on because I just didn't get any pictures of it with the exhaust on the frame, and it just looks cool. Everything on here, to the best of what I'm freaking looking at right now, is patched and welded the way I wanted it to be. Clean this up. Got some welds on the underside of here, and so I think this is basically ready to go. I'm trying to be like delusionally optimistic because every time I look at what we're doing, I just yeah. So tomorrow we're gonna measure that for a drive shaft, okay? And then we're gonna get that ball rolling because I kind of sort of forgot about that. Then the engine is gonna come back out of the car. We're gonna prep the whole frame, take the rear end out, and spray the encapsulator on it. Me and Manny were chatting. We also decided that we're gonna spray the encapsulator on the bottom side of this. That will be ready for the paint scheme. I have not told you guys yet what the paint scheme is because I don't really know if it's going to be awesome or not, or if it's just awesome in my brain. We're in trouble. We have 12 days as of me recording this right now, so that probably means 11 or 10 days by the time you're watching this. So, pray for me. I have half a case of Red Bull left, so we should be all right there. And, okay, I gotta stop thinking about it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you, give me another 2-3 days. We'll have another video out.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally